Hello, hello, welcome. Happy Wednesday. So this week our Savvy webinar is going to be Beyond the Booking. Really is going to be more than 10 amenities. So y'all get ready. It's going to be jam-packed with lots of ideas, lots of things that are not on this slide. And my name is Leah Yuhasz. I am the STR expert down here on 30A. All the way from Destin to the Forgotten Coast. I am on the Joe Roney team down here for Savvy. So we're looking here on the beautiful, beautiful Emerald Coast. We are still just waiting to make sure that everyone can join. I want you guys to just pop in the chat. Um, Anything that you think about, anything that you have experiences with, anything you love to see on vacation or that you already have in your homes that are great ideas, because I want to share those ideas as well as take questions at the end. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so everybody's popping on here. So here is our big Savvy team. We are in many, many markets across the US. Some great looking faces there. So if we can't help you on the Emerald Coast, I want to make sure that we're just very clear and transparent. We will send you to the markets that you're interested in and then the markets that fit best with your buy box and with your goals. That's what we do at Savvy. We are just we're interested in helping you be most successful in this space. So why amenities matter? So this is a big thing that I tell our clients. When you come to when you come to a place that you're staying on vacation, you want to feel well thought of and you don't want to feel like someone just has moved out of the home and they're not staying there. So you want to really dive into the details and make sure that your guests feel like there's something there for them and that you've thought about their next move. 93% of five-star reviews mention something that's small. Short-term rentals with thoughtful amenities to see 10 to 20% more repeat bookings. And that is very true because you are going to get that experience from the start of this host has thought of everything. You're going to see the signs posted. You're going to see the in-room information. You're going to see the Wi-Fi signs. It's going to be very clear from the start how your stay is going to be thought of. You do not need to overspend to outcare, and that is what mostly today is about. Just showing you all of the details that you can add that it's really, really neat to change that experience for your guest. So, what guests actually mention in their reviews? Coffee bars. So, if you think about how much it costs to go to the store, buy a whole pack of creamers, sugars, K-cups, then also the guests having to match up what K-cups their other guests are wanting to use, it really can just, if you're getting a variety pack and you're sticking it in the boxes for them, you're really going the extra mile and solving a huge problem and saving that guest money. So what does that look like for that experience? And to not have to run to the store late in the evening so that they'll have coffee for the next morning. Guests really love to tell their other guests that are traveling with them too, hey, I think they've got some K-cups. I'm going to bring some still. And then we can also go to the store and fill in for whatever they don't have there. So it's something good to let your guests know ahead of time that they're going to have. Um, Things for the pool and games for the kids. So a lot of times, especially on Airbnb, if you see that they have a guest that says in their review, stayed with kids. So if I'm booking and I have a young family, I'm going to pay more attention to that review, and it's probably going to say something to the effect of they already had pool floats for me there. They already had beach toys stocked. They already had sunscreen or bug spray for us and the kids to use, which was super, super handy. So having that be placed in your review can really help those guests see from the start, even before booking, hey, this is a place that's actually really credible, and the guest has thought about that. Everything's labeled and easy to find. Of course, remotes, we'll get into that in a minute. And then we appreciated the welcome basket. There's kind of this debate on, do people actually use a welcome basket? I think it goes so far. And not just placing two or three cheap snacks, but really just doing some fun theme snacks. Like here at the beach, we like Pirates Booty popcorn, and lots of different options. And we also try to provide a lot of nut-free options as well to be considerate of our guests that have allergies. Nothing chokeable, of course, but we do try to provide a little starter snack pack. And even put in our welcome card that, these are some snacks you can go ahead and hit the beach now. If you guys are hungry from your drive, we hope you enjoy. So things like that, just your initial impression is what they're going to pick up on. The top five low cost, high impact additions, the welcome baskets again. And really, it's not all going to be that $25 to $50, but some really neat things that we're going to dive into in a minute that talks about how you can make those repeat guests really enjoy their stay even more by surprising them a little bit. The coffee and tea stations, tea are things that are even cheaper than coffee. I mean, it's what, $3 for a pack of 50 packs of tea, because not everyone drinks coffee. This is a big one that people forget, and this is more of a boutique or professional host type of situation. You're going to have kitchen basics like oils and sprays, things that are nonstick cooking sprays, even avocado oil, healthier cooking spray options, your salt, and a lot of my guests, I will notice if we have ran out of sugar, they will use the sugar packets that we leave in our coffee stations. So, people are cooking on vacation. If you have a full kitchen, these are things that you want to think about. And then also providing the spice racks, right? Our guests, I hate having to see guests fill in at different rentals, different random brands of garlic and onion powder and different random, that kind of gets icky. So if you just go ahead and set it up and make it thoughtful from the start, then it's really going to have this overall cleaner appearance for your guests so that they know it's something that you left and not just something that maybe expired and it was not cleaned up after another guest. Um, Phone charging stations. So this is kind of one that we provide a phone charging cord, and we try to do this in every room. It's not easy to keep because yes, they do go missing. However, it's so cheap to replace this, and oftentimes, especially in our larger rentals with bigger families, people are really good about leaving it there. Yes, they do go missing. However, having that there from the start and putting your label on the charging blocks and also securing the cords to the nightstand, that can really help make sure that the guest keeps it there after their stay. But one thing that we had recently in the Smokies at our big cabin was a charging port. So it was just the wireless charger, and I got to connect my phone right there. So nice. It was such a nice ad, and it was so thoughtful. That way I didn't have to go digging for the cords. It was really nice ad. So I would say if you have a larger property in the 3, 4 bedroom plus range, providing one of those with a higher nightly rate makes sense. Of course, we want to be sure to not overscale into the luxury if we only have a 1 or 2 bedroom, but I think if you can add it, that would be a wonderful add. because people are going to charge their phones every single stay. And then local guidebooks or digital guidebooks. So we use TouchStay, and this is something that I, as a host, fought for quite a while. We had a lot of in-room information that I prided myself on that we use from Canva, and I got very creative and crafty, and I loved that process of putting our Wi-Fi information, where the pools were located, beach access, what kind of gear we left, what restaurants were below, and what restaurants were even in the area. However, um, eventually, as things change and as things go missing, you will find that having that digital guidebook is just the easiest go-to, and that way you have a cleaner version. And then rather than your cleaner fumbling around with a new one or an old one, or wiping it down, having to laminate and go through all of that process, you have a QR code that is framed and you have one in every room. That way, it feels cleaner. And it's also allowing those extra guests that did not book your property to log in and self-serve. So you don't want someone that did not book the property just fumbling for information the whole time and making that primary booking guest responsible for feeding them all the information. So Wi-Fi codes, nearby activities, all really great things to put in your digital guidebook. And that's also considered an amenity in room info. Your return on investment snapshot. So when you're looking at things, even like string lights, yes, it's an amenity. It's something that we're going to add that helps create an experience, but it also is going to help in the booking phase. So we talk about amenities a lot, and will that add to your price per night, or will that just add to experience? But also things like this in photos will help add to the guest ultimately deciding to book, because they can see the extra effort and they can see what kind of host you're going to be from the beginning. Pool floats and toys. We got to take care of our kiddos. I say it all the time, but if you're helping to entertain our kids on vacation, you're a win in my book. If you've thought about them at all as far as safety, staging, and then anything for them to do when we get there, it goes so far with parents. Something that they didn't have to buy extra for your market, that they get to enjoy and create a memory with. It's huge, huge. um, Laundry pods and the jars, and we'll talk about ways to organize that in a bit. And then pickleball, of course. If you're going to have a pickleball court, even at your resort or when nearby in the HOA that they provide, that you market, you want to also provide, whether it's in the laundry room or an extra closet, you want to just go ahead and provide that gear to make it easy on them. I always say if we can provide it ourselves within our unit, we're not creating all of this additional stress on the resort staff. And then there's also that unique ability for them to not have pickleball gear or tennis gear available for rent in the office. Say there's a couple of people already playing nearby on another court. If they go to the office and they're out of that equipment, we don't want to be relying on that office staff to provide our guests with experiences. Ultimately, that's our job. So if you're going to advertise for that pickleball court, you can get a set of pickleball paddles for $20. And then your smart storage system. So yes, anytime we're ever adding something within our unit, we want to think, how are we going to keep it not only safely stored and out of reach of children, and also not so high on a shelf that the shelf could also fall. But we're also thinking about places we can communicate to the guest that it's there and communicate to the cleaners to check. So if we're providing hand soap and dish soap, little hack here, I always provide a clear jar That way our cleaners know when the soap dispensers are getting low. I never want to get a message from a guest saying that they ran out of soap. And so that was my solve for that. Just go ahead and getting a clear jar. That way everyone's on the same page with that. Also, if you're talking about extra batteries or extra games, extra little things like that, you want to have that designated spot that you communicate to your team as well as your guests. My favorite spot to do this is a printout, an in-room information printout, because we have our digital and our hard copies. So I tell our cleaning teams that they can take a copy of our in-room printout that floats around our living rooms at our properties that tells where our extra games are, where extra batteries and sheets are, where extra towels and pillows are, and things like that. That way, everyone is on the same page. And then I keep that for my own team. Any assistants we have, any members that's jumping in and helping us, we know exactly where everything is stored. That way, we can point the guests to that area if they're missing something. Also, things that I came across recently that I thought was genius was a little clear shelf for the remotes in every room, not just one or two rooms, but every single room. There was clearly designated a holder for the remotes, and that's where we kept it the whole time. And I would imagine that's where the cleaners are going to be doing their checks every single turn. A great idea. Um, Outdoor perks that the guests brag about. Again, string lights. You're creating that ambiance, but you're also going the extra mile to create a moment and a memory. And this is what I tell our owners. So, and whether it's an owner that we manage for or an owner that we're helping set up the unit for that just purchased a property and they're first time self managers, we are not only in the hospitality business, but now we are responsible for helping to create memories. We get to be a part of these memories. So I love the fact that things like bikes are going to go so far with your guest experience. And when guests hop on bikes and get to tour around your property, they're creating a memory with their family, and you're also getting them to explore the area, which is something that they came to do anyways. And yeah, when you provide bikes, you give them an escape from those four walls, which is what they came there looking for anyways. When you're coming on a trip, you're just wanting to forget it all, put it all behind you, and just take off and explore. And so that one amenity then transforms into a whole guest experience that is beyond your four walls. So that's what's really, really incredible about that. Just, paying for a bike, $150 one time, and then getting to use that over and over again. And people do get a little bit nervous about this. There's things like rental agreements, there's things like in-room information, and there's things that you can put in your listings to help, protect you from anything happening from damages and such. But I would not withhold for fear, right? We want to provide as much value and options to our guests as we can, because this is the difference between booking a hotel and booking an Airbnb, right? We're going to get an experience out of a short-term rental that we self-manage. Kayaks, yes, those are fun. Those are tricky, but if you have a place close to the water, like a sound body of water, that's an incredible opportunity right there. And then in the fall season, people ask me about hot tubs and fire pits for the beach season, and it is a great opportunity to catch those late fall bookings and wintertime bookings, because it does get in the 40s to 60s quite often at night, and it's just really nice to be able to go do that in the backyard, something that you would normally do at home. And we have in this beach market a lot of travel that's even 4 or 5 nights, even from October until February. So we don't shut ours down for snowbirds for that time. A lot of people think that travel kind of stops around September, but no, we have a lot of things down here that people come and book to visit and do. And then, of course, cornhole. That's a classic. And I love seeing kiddos play with it because whether it's the adults fighting for the kids to use it or not, it's just super, super simple. And usually the boards are very sturdy, hard to break. And then here we go. So how are we going to display or show off our amenities? This is also very near and dear to my heart too, because rather than just throwing a couple of laundry pods in the pocket of a a washing machine, rather than throwing a couple of laundry pods up there for your guests to use, our cleaners specifically bag up the whole entire need. So they bag 2 or 3 different pods of laundry. And then we also provide in mason jars, and I know Joe does this for his property too in Panama City Beach, the Clorox bleach tabs, which is a great idea. That way you're preventing them from using too much. And then you're limiting the amount that you have per turn. That way, we're not getting out of hand and wanting to try to bleach towels and stuff excessively because that would not be good chemically and then also for color. Um, Wall-mounted organizers for kitchen and bath. Yes. Recently, also in our short-term rental in Tennessee, they put for the hair dryers, they put it on the wall. Um, it looked like a tin, a metal tin, and it was attached to the bathroom wall. And not only was the hair dryer in a bag labeled hair dryer, but it was also in that tin, which was really, really neat. It just made it feel so clean, so well thought out, and very organized. I wasn't having to fumble through the drawers, and then I wasn't stressing about where I should put it back, trying to remember where I kept it because it was like 8 drawers in all of the vanities. So it just felt very nice and clean. And yeah, it was a great setup. So you can definitely go the extra mile with storage and make a difference. Match and yeah, you want to make sure that your hand towels and bath towels match. They're all the same brand. Um, of course, this you want to make sure they're the same color as well. And one of the biggest asks in this business, in this industry, as well as other hosts, will realize too, sometimes the difference between your unit and another unit are things like providing enough towels. So enough bath towels, enough bath cloths. You want to make sure you have plenty for your guests to use. We do 4 to 6 per bathroom. That way, people are not having to wash bathroom towels every other day. And just recently traveled, it's definitely on my mind. We washed a lot of towels, quite a bit. So you want to provide enough for your guests to give them not the hassle, but just feel very taken care of. Common mistakes to avoid. Really just overstuffing and cluttering everything, having mismatched linens, having those beds and pillows. You're only putting 2 pillows on the bed. You're not providing a lot, but then in certain areas, it's just kind of junked. One of my pet peeves is opening up the storage closet. There's a Swiffer with no pad on it. There's nothing extra to use to clean up behind yourself. And then they don't have any Clorox wipes, any safe sprays that are, low chemical, really eco-friendly and healthier versions to use. They don't have anything to, kind of help clean up behind yourself. Or they might have a broom with no dustpan. Classic. So you want to make sure everything is thought up because if you have a mess or a spill, how do you expect your guests to clean up behind themselves if you have not left the appropriate tools to do that? And so you want to make sure that vacuum has a cord attached and it's charged, ready to go, and things like that. Also, yeah, waffle makers. things in the cabinet and pantry that maybe you did not leave there, but your guest has cluttered it up with like plastic dishware and stuff that doesn't match or go with your theme. You want to make sure everything looks seamless, well planned, well thought out, and you want to leave enough there again. Can everyone sit and have dinner one night with the family? If you're hosting 12 people, do we have 12 plates? That's something that people do not think of. They just buy one set of dishes and that serves eight. Well, if we're hosting 12 guests, why are we only providing eight plates, right? And we're not going to stick someone with salad plates. That's awkward. So anytime you can ever think of what does their experience look like once they get here, you're front loading the front end of this booking, right? We want to make sure that once they get here, they have everything they need for their stay. And then, yeah, this is some, thanks Lou and our team. This is some last minute ads, guest avatars, and specific amenity ideas. So we like to say our VIP guests get a little bit extra. So we can't necessarily soup up our welcome baskets to be 20, 30 bucks every time. But if we're going to have a repeat stay or a repeat guest, we want to make sure that they have got something to feel special. So one of the things, shout out to Kate, one of the things that she loves to do for her guests is go on Etsy and get a monogrammed or personal beach towel for her repeat stays, which I love that idea. Also, you can give, we call it like a souvenir pack of our personal branded, our unit name, and then we do 30A. Or our company name as well on Tervis tumblers, and then also canvas beach bags. There's so many different ways to incorporate things that your guests are going to use while on vacation, but also making them feel so thought of. And it does not have to be expensive. You can shop all these things out. Indoor play. So I always speak about what do your guests do if it's raining. So in any market, whether we're talking about Gatlinburg, East Coast, West Coast, Northwest, or beach market here in the South, and we do have a lot of rainy days. It's actually raining right now in the middle of June. We have a lot of rainy days. So what is your guest going to do around your home while it's raining? Sometimes they're going to message you and let you know everything that they don't have or they might need, or they're going to ask you where this is or where that is, or if you have extra this or that. But how can we get on the front end of that and think about their experience, even if the weather isn't pitch perfect? So, indoor play. So, cheap options for this, and it's on the next slide as well, but Uno, Connect Four, Match Game, Checkers. These are games that I personally love to add to each rental and then keep that refreshed and restocked. Number one, if one or two pieces go missing, they can still play the game. And that's very important, right? Because it's going to happen inevitably. Something's going to get shoved under the under something, and then that's going to get thrown away, and or someone's going to accidentally stick it in their bag, or a kid's going to take a piece and put it in their bag. So you want to think about not only things for them to do, but also how does that roll over to your cleaning team? So our cleaning team, I don't want them having to pick up 20 extra little pieces of Scrabble. So we don't do Scrabble. It's a great game, but I want to be super thoughtful also and mindful of our little ones that are crawling around. And I want to make sure that anything we're leaving them out that a big brother or sister is playing with, that it's also not a choking hazard. And then bug spray, sunscreen, hats, gloves. I love the idea of having some branded hats and gloves for your repeat guests that are coming to these colder, more mountain northern markets, because they are going to need one. They probably have a plan to buy one already, out and about somewhere. I know we live in Florida, so we don't have a lot of toboggans here. And whether it's for a kid or for you, it would be so nice to have that just brand new, fresh in a welcome basket ready for them to use. Um, yeah. This is our last slide here. And again, the beach towels. So I can't tell you how many rentals I walk through and go in and I just chat with other owners and hosts. They just don't offer beach towels. And one thing that it does bother me, if we're offering beach towels, I want to make sure we're doing it thoughtfully, right? Because different people are going to do different things with them. So I don't want our fresh white linen towels that are used for bathing, our bath towels, to be washed with a red or an orange bright beach towel. So what we do is we just get a 6 pack from Amazon. It's $25. And these little right here, these Turkish beach towels are great ads, and they are bleach resistant, and also they do not fade. So I always like to say if it's overwhelming at first, chances are there is a better option. You just have to find it. So that was our better option for providing beach towels, because what I noticed was, some of our linen was getting a little bit of bleeding, and I thought, how is it turning red? Because the cleaners, were not washing it with anything other. And so that was what it was. The guests were just washing it with beach towels. Um, Fun little fans, again, sunscreen. You can always put some up in a cabinet and have them reuse it, but then also providing like little face sticks in your welcome basket, just something that they feel really well thought of. And we like to soup up our welcome baskets when it comes to our bigger summer bookings, especially around July 4th time. We will go through and make sure all of our properties have things like glow sticks, tattoos, fun glasses, just really, really get into the gear there. And so when you soup up those welcome baskets and you make those guests that did pay a premium and you make them feel special, you're going to probably get a great reward, which is a great review. But then you're also going to make that guest happy and improve their stay, which is overall what we're trying to do, right? We're not trying to just give the bare minimum and just sweep by with it. We're really trying to be just so submerged in the hospitality world and industry that we're giving our guests and our guest avatar, which is most of the time most like us and our family, the experience that we would want and we would wish to have on vacation. Pack and plays. You got to have a pack and play. It is probably one of the most asked about amenity. And we are very forthcoming in our listings, in our descriptions, and all of our, names. We put kid friendly. We put it all throughout. That we host families with young children, and we are very careful to make sure that nothing is breakable and all of our decor is very appropriate for kids. But I can't tell you how many people, even in Asheville, we host in Asheville as well. They ask if there's a pack and play, and our family does the same thing. When my kiddos were younger, that was the last thing on our list. Even if we were driving, we did not want to have to worry about bringing our pack and play. We love for that to be included. So it's $50, and yes, they will be used over and over again. You don't have to replace them that often. They are very sturdy and strong. So just go ahead and get that pack and play, and you're going to check so many boxes there because they are very sought after. Also, the plug covers. I had a lot of guests when we didn't offer these to start with, ask if we had any of those. So now we store those in every drawer of our properties. There's some available to plug in if we don't have enough throughout. And then last, night lights. That is one of my favorite. Oh, balcony alarms, but night lights. We love putting night lights. Not only is it a safety box, but how many people know your area and your space, and they're going to be nervous with all of their all of their luggage, all of the random toys scattered throughout, all of the furniture in different corners and how it works to just be able to get to the bathroom. So just go ahead and provide that hallway light in the version of a night light to help your guests navigate their stay once they're there. And then just very last thing, the balcony doors having the alarm. They are about $3, and you can get for a night for $9. You can get a 4-pack, but little alarms that you can switch to ding or alarm you whenever a balcony door is opened. Those are, I'm so proud to offer those in our properties. I can't tell you how many homes once once you get there as a parent and you look around and you're a little bit fearful, but then you look up on the door and you see that there's an alarm there for you to use to make sure that your kiddo doesn't escape from you while you're not looking, or if there's, a higher balcony or even a body of water right outside, we want to make sure that we're protecting that piece for our parents involved too. So that's, oh, I did have another slide. Oh, cleaning supplies. I already talked about those a bit. And then our tea kettles and our French presses. I didn't know how many coffee snobs there are in America, but we have a lot of coffee snobs that like French presses, and they are very cheap. They're about $7 or $8. Same thing for tea kettles. They are the cutest. They are my favorite thing to get from Home Goods and places like that because, again, not everyone drinks coffee. And then our pet friendly properties. I had messaged our group, one of our co-hosting groups this morning, and asked them for feedback. And Philip came back with making sure that our welcome baskets are stocked with like a dog toy. And so again, in your head, you're like, oh, dog toys can get really expensive. Maybe the toys that you buy for your dog, but I guarantee you there is some packs on Amazon or Walmart that you can get multiple different little toys for them, little squeakers or what have you. And then this past Christmas, I went through all of our pet-friendly properties, bagged up in little treat bags, these tiny little bones. They were very mindfully so that no stomach allergies occurred while on vacation, nervous stomachs plus new bones. They were very vanilla, very dry, very basic with seasoning. But just a tiny little thought that we had, thought about their fur babies and stuck that in the welcome basket. And so that goes a long way. And I think that about rounds it up. So, here's a QR code if you want to get connected, if you want to chat more, or if you even want a list of all of this with links, things like touch stay guides, things like our favorite places to order amenities, links to our towels, things like that, that you can put hot tub towels. You want to make sure you remember those. So yeah, now the floor is open, and let me see if there are any questions so far. Oh yeah. Ashley says, I really hate when there's poor Wi-Fi. So yeah, that's a good point too. So having that higher speed Wi-Fi and making sure you're paying, extra $20 or so for the premium, that can go a long way during the wintertime with traveling professionals because we do get asked several times in the wintertime, how fast our Wi-Fi is. Hello from Atlanta. Throw blankets. Yes, Melissa. Yeah. Yep. So she says, I rarely see one in a rental, and she wishes more hosts left throw blankets. I would agree. I'm a little bit stingy with my throw blankets. I usually only leave one or two extra, but I have an owner that really encourages us to leave a lot extra because she likes to use several blankets on her bedding. So that's a phenomenal idea. Thank you, Chris. Great presentation. How do you feel about accepting pets? Do you see more people are searching for pet-friendly stays? Speaking straight to my heart. I love talking about pets. I love talking about being pet friendly. If you've seen any of our videos, you'll know that's one of my top favorite things to do to differentiate yourself in every market. Only about 25% of those across any market are actually pet friendly. And when you look at the data, there are 73% of Americans are dog owners. So just here in this country, we have four-legged friends, and the data says if we if we are pet friendly and we're allowing pets into our home, our guests are going to stay longer and they're going to pay more per night and value a pet friendly stay over designer furniture, and your place being lined out well. So our pet, if you think about it, if you're having to book a property, I've done it myself. I've shortened our stay. That way we didn't have to leave our lab. He's my third child. We didn't have to leave our lab for very long. So, those that are accommodating pets are really winning in the market. And then you're also, when you're looking at even pockets and neighborhoods, and we're seeing this across the data, you're looking at neighborhoods and you filter in that specific area that you're looking to vacation in, whether it's nearby a favorite restaurant or favorite activities. When you select pet friendly, your options shrink considerably. So if you're actually offering the availability to host a pet, you're showing up, and that's way more than the majority of your market. Great way to get off-season bookings and shoulder season bookings. And it's a great way to fill your occupancy in your calendar. We also charge for our pets because our cleaners charge additionally, and they clean up that additional hair if it's even there. And we've been hosting for almost 2 years now for our properties that are pet friendly. And I have to tell you, we have had zero issues across three different properties. So I'm really proud of that. Our people that bring their pets are very, very respectful. Um, and so it would shock you. Let's see if there's any more chats and questions, and we will close it out. And I think we are good. Thank you guys so much for your time. Sorry we went over a little bit, I believe. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. If you want to get in touch with us, again, you can scan that QR code, or just email me right here at leah@savvy.realty, and we're so happy to help you. Thank you so much.